From two dirty painters to multiple seven-figure business owners, I'm Redion.
And I'm Karmelo.
And we'll be giving you guys the insider secrets to take your trades business to the next level.
From crazy stories to proven strategies, get ready to supercharge your business with us.
Welcome to the Dirty Painters Podcast.
In today's episode, we will be discussing how to stay motivated when things get hard with your business. Sometimes it's easy to get distracted by short-term goals, but we will touch on the importance of building and maintaining a long-term vision to scale your business. Let's get right into it. Motivation.
All right, you guys, I'm sure you know I hate the word motivation, but a lot of you out there, even us in the beginning, were struggling with being motivated, I guess, to get ourselves out of bed on being business. Now I'm a big believer, like discipline beats motivation. Also, you have set goals. You don't even need to be motivated. You just know what you need to do. You don't need motivation. But if you're not at that point yet, we're going to give you a few pointers of how me and Karmelo dealt with things when things went south, when fuck-ups happened, when we thought we were going under. All of those things were like some real life stories.
Yeah, motivation is good, but I think discipline is the better part of the equation. I mean, they work great together, but discipline, I think it can work better by itself.
So the biggest thing that we struggled early on in the business with being motivated on being in business, it was when things got slow. I think that was a big hurdle to overcome and stay committed to your goals and your vision. So I remember, for example, in the beginning when we first started, obviously we're not busy. It's a standard, I think. When you start a new business, you're not going to be busy right away. So first, we started with lead services. It was slow. Then we went and became a subcontractor for CertaPro. We're barely making any money. We're making like $10 an hour. And then when we stopped that and our work stopped, we were trying to figure out how to stay busy. And we were sitting at home for quite a bit. So I was like, what the heck are we doing? That was the first kind of moment of, is this really for us? Should we have job security? Should we just go work for another painter? Should we stick with school? Should we go get a degree? That was the first time where I think that we needed motivation. When things slow down, they want to go back to what's comfortable, what's guaranteed, instead of figuring out what to do to get busy.
Yeah, those moments, I think they're a great display of grit and perseverance. I think how we combated that is we thought, being slow, not really working, at one point staying a month at home.
But what we did, though, it's like we were very set that we're never going to work for somebody else that's not going to treat us right. So that was a given from the beginning. We all agreed, me and my brother, we're never going to work for somebody else that doesn't treat us right. So what do we have to do to not do that? So we were pretty set. We already had a vision in mind. We're going to build a painting business. And in the beginning, it was we're going to work for ourselves. We'll make good money. So what we did, I remember the period significant. We went and visited our uncle in Canada, in Montreal. And then he had a decent cleaning business. He's doing good for himself. So we went, it was January. We were very slow, October, November. I think that our last job was Caroline, that we did the tile, and then that was our last job in November, right before Thanksgiving. So after Thanksgiving and December, we didn't land a single job. So we're like, okay, let's go visit my uncle for New Year's, for Christmas, and just kind of change the scenery and maybe regroup. And then I remember we're like, Karmelo, maybe we should start a cleaning business. So we actually started a cleaning business. We lasted 3 days. I'm like, fuck this. We're not cleaning anything. We're like, let's start a janitorial job. We came back to the drawing board. I'm like, what do we need to do to build a successful business? So we started doing outreach like crazy. We're finding people's emails. We're just going crazy trying to get leads and get work. And then things started slowly rolling in. Some leads came from the paid. We were using, I think, we were using networks at the time. Some of those leads came in. We started getting some friction, but we didn't need motivation. We were just like, hey, there's no plan B. Fuck starting another business. Fuck going back to work for somebody else. We're going to stick with what we started, and we're just going to stick to our goals. Create a successful painting business. You need to prepare yourself. Any business you start, not just painting. It's not going to be easy in the beginning. It's going to take some time to get friction. It's going to take some time to start seeing money coming in. Be prepared for it. Be like we said earlier in an earlier episode, negative visualization. It's a Stoic principle. Always be prepared for the worst case scenario, and then be ready to deal with it. Have options. Have your moves planned out. What are you gonna do if those difficulties arise? And then once you prepare for it, you won't be stressing out. So that's one way you can deal with getting yourself motivated by knowing like, hey, if it doesn't work, then I'll be fine. Because you can really put yourself down and be like, oh, why am I doing this? I'll just go back to the security of having a job. And what am I in business for? Fuck this business thing.
Something I want to ask you, as far as motivation goes, do you think it's skill?
No.
And I think there's two ways you can get motivated. It can be natural. Let's say you wake up, you feel, oh, motivated, let's get this day forward. Or sometimes you don't really wake up motivated. And it could be artificial or self-induced is what I say. You give yourself a pep talk.
I'll give you an example of the question you asked me. How many people have you seen that come in our conference room? They spend 2 hours with me. They pay big money. I get them fired up. I'm like, we're going to do all this. I give them the consulting. They're like, yeah, we're going to kill you. We're going to do this. How many of them, they leave the conference, they're fired up. They think they're going to go out there and make millions of dollars, but we never hear back from them.
Very small percentage actually follows through.
Exactly.
And that's due to the discipline. They're not disciplined enough to follow
through. They get motivated. They get fired up. They travel. Guys, I have people coming from all over the country to our shop to consult with us. And then I noticed it's a pattern. All these people, they get motivated for a day or two, and then they just stop. It's because it comes down to not having a clear vision and not having goals. Because once you have goals, I think that's the most important part. You have to set your goals, and you have to understand what it takes to achieve those goals. And then that roadmap, that guide is going to tell you what you need to be doing every day. Even the days that you wake up and you don't feel like doing it. You're like, okay, I need to do 100 outreach calls. I need to go to the networking event. I need to reach out to these people. I need to follow up with my leads. I need to do this. I need to do that. Having those goals, you're going to need to have that structure. So even on the days that you're not motivated, that you think you're going to be a millionaire painter, you have that roadmap keeping you in check, kind of like, hey.
You have to perform.
I have to perform. I have to show up. It's like Kobe. Kobe is like my favorite athlete of all time. I studied Kobe like crazy. He's like, I don't feel like going to the gym at 3 o'clock in the morning or at 5 o'clock in the morning. I don't feel like doing 3 workouts a day, but I have to do it. I need to. I remember I was watching this video. He's like, I signed this contract with myself. And I'm like, this is what I need to do. And this is what it's going to take to get me to where I need to be. And no matter what, I have to do it. I have to do the 3 workouts a day. I have to outwork my competitors. I have to do it was crazy. His mindset was insane. And I think you kind of need to be like that in everything in life. Like set your rules. Like this is what I need to do to achieve this result. And then follow that. And you have to have a good, strong mindset too. People who think they need to be motivated all the time, it won't work for you guys. You have to have a strong mindset. Like when things go wrong, you have to be ready to adapt and then deal with it. And then we're gonna go over a few examples. Not just like the period that we're slow. I don't think that was a very hard obstacle for us to overcome. Like we're so set on what we want to build that was a breeze for us. Like we're gonna stick with it. But we'll go over a few things a little bit further down the road in business where things went like really bad and we're like stressing out. And obviously we didn't have a lot of money at the time we're like living pretty much paycheck to paycheck in the beginning of the business. So we're like, oh shit, man, this is too much for us. Like, for example, we'll start with a job that it was literally cash flowing our whole life with for a month. And then the lady didn't want to pay us. And she was the biggest pain in the ass customer ever. Crazy story. She was a gambler. She was losing her house. She was trying to renovate the outside of the house so she can increase the price so she could give him as much money as she could possible from selling the house so she could pay her gambling debt. And then she was trying to screw us over, not paying. It's like 26 G's worth of work. We did stucco. We did everything outside, painting, changed carpentry, pretty big house. And that was not a breaking point, but I think that was like the most stress we've been in business because first of all, we didn't have money to like even pay our bills if we didn't get paid from the job. But it was also a big kind of, she went online and she like left reviews, bad reviews everywhere. She was making fake accounts. She was like leaving like hundreds of reviews from fake accounts. So it was I think that was a pretty tough point where like, okay, we have to either. I was like, you know what, fuck this business thing.
So that one, even at one point, for me personally, with all the comments, because most of it was fabricated, all of it was fabricated.
Yeah.
And it made me question, wait, did we really not do right by her? And then we're thinking, we followed through everything. Jump came out beautifully. We even did some extra work for her inside that, hey, we want to help you out with this too, since it's an add-on and we'll take care of it for you. That we didn't get paid for that.
Yeah, no.
All was money hanging on the table. And yeah, it was really stressful because like you mentioned, we were just starting then and it was our only cash flowing job that month. So bills were coming up and we really needed to get paid.
So yeah, that job was pretty much paid for bill. And that was the job that I figured out what a mechanic's lien is, because that lady was not paying us. So a mechanic's lien, if you guys don't know, it's when a contractor, when you're getting to a contract with a homeowner and then they don't pay you, you can put a mechanic lien on their house. And then when there's a lien on the property, they can't sell or refinance. And that lady really needed to sell the house so she could pay her gambling debts. Anyways, so that's when I figured out, I'm like, okay, this lady's not going to pay us out. Bills are coming up. We need money. And then I went online, did some research. I was like, okay, you don't want to pay me? I'll put a lien in your house. And that's when like her mindset, she's like, oh shit, I got to pay these guys. Otherwise I won't be able to sell the house. So she paid us. We got the money. But I think like the next 2-3 weeks, it was an absolute nightmare dealing with her. And then she was like we said, making fake accounts, leaving reviews, and like talking shit about me and Karmelo. It's like, it's only this guy, his younger brother.
His teenage brother.
His teenage brother. That's not a real business. And it took a toll on us. We're like, oh, fuck this, man. Our reputation is ruined. We'll never be able to get a job. Guess what, guys? We were fine. We stressed out for no fucking reason. 2 months go by, 3 months go by after that job. Business was booming and thriving, and that lady was like literally stalking our Instagram and trying to like comment, and I kept blocking her fake accounts. She was like, you'll never amount. I can't remember the exact comment. She would like send me like huge paragraphs like, oh, you never amounted to anything. You like like crazy text. I was like, wow, this lady must really have some issues. And back then I was a little bit more like hot-headed. I would like go back at her. I'm like, I didn't curse her out, but like, oh, you're just a piece of shit customer, like in nice ways. I can't remember exactly what I said, but I think we'll be fine. God watches everything. And she was not a religious person, so she probably didn't care about me saying God watches everything. But God really does watch everything. Our business, because like Karmelo said, we didn't do anything wrong. We stood by everything. We did extra things for her. We bent over backwards because it was our only customer for the month. So like, we'll make sure she's happy, do everything. And then, yeah, we were fine after. It didn't ruin our reputation. And then I remember our Google listing had just started and it had like 20 bad reviews from all her fake accounts. Like, not even 1 star, like half, like less than 1 star.
Thankfully, they got deleted.
Yeah, they got deleted. I was like, I sent her a cease and desist. I was like, hey, if you keep harassing us, because that's at the harassment point, we're going to take legal actions, which we didn't have money to take legal actions, but sometimes you just have to say those things.
You have to play the person.
Put people in check. Now, if somebody does that, oh my God, I'm calling out my lawyers. It's on. You're going down. But back then, it was, sometimes you had to bluff, And then, we were fine. I remember we were sad for days. I'm like, oh my God, our business is ruined. We just started. This one customer, like, I promise you guys, that one customer, one pain in the ass customer, just make sure you do everything that you're supposed to do in your part and then let them talk. And then I had people down the road like, oh, what about these reviews, until they got deleted. I'm like, yeah, that lady, I literally built out a whole case study of the text that she was sending me. I was like, hey.
I remember that.
Yeah, literally, I was like, look what that lady was like. Literally, that was the story. That's what she was trying to do. She was trying to like not pay us because she was going under. And the customer were appreciative of us explaining to the situation. And then that was at one point I was like, once we started getting business, I'm like, you know what? Even if something like that can put us down, I'm like, nothing else can happen. And I'll use my friend Anthony as an example too. He has like 200 5-star reviews. And then he would get like a 3-star or 2-star or 1-star, and his whole world would end. He's like, oh my God, I got a bad review. And he would talk about it for a week straight. And I was like, dude, trust me, you'll be fine. Don't worry. Like, sometimes you will get bad apples, and we can't make everybody happy. Or they just a lot of people out there that have issues, and they'll take them out on the painters or the contractors, no matter how good you are with them. I'm like, you'll be fine. And then, yeah, trust me, guys, he's fine. He's thriving. Even like, no matter like he got a bad review 2 years ago, his business is thriving. He's doing great. So don't let those bad, negative energy customers, even if they go and leave you bad reviews, even if they talk shit, just let your work talk, man. If you do right by people, the marketplace will reward you 100%. All right, so that was our first introduction to realizing, hey, it's not easy dealing with people. That was our first introduction, and I took a lot of lessons from that. I was like, I cannot be hot-headed. I cannot go back and forth with people. I cannot, what do you call it? I cannot like fight with them. That's the biggest lesson I took. Always kill them with kindness. And then also I switched that mindset. Every time we had a customer, and we never had a crazy issue like that after, but you get customers who complain and like, bitch about random things. Now we're like, okay, what can we do to make it right? What can we do to make it right? What would make you happy? That's another great question again. What would make you happy? What would guarantee your 100% satisfaction? And then when you approach them like that and you're not being aggressive with them, it diffuses them. Literally, they have nothing else to say.
So there was another project that we were doing their cabinets in the kitchen. They had this lounge area, I want to say, and a closet upstairs. Everything was coming up beautifully, but there was this one area on that lounge area where we were painting. There was a little sag. Job is not finished yet because we haven't done our cleanup. We haven't done our fine detail tune work. Yeah, we were going back the next day. And we brought the doors in already. So the kitchen was installed. The bathroom upstairs was installed. Closet was already done. So it was just that one area that we still kept the masking up because we had to do that. And then, did you get a text or did I get a text?
She sent me a text. A fucking essay, not a text.
Yeah, essay. What did it say exactly?
She's like, I thought you were going to be doing the spraying. And at the time I was off the field. I thought you were going to be doing spraying. You have these young kids. And again, you guys seen our fucking sprayers on Instagram. They're fucking straight killers. So we train them ourselves. They fucking run circles on people who've been doing this for 30 years. And she's like, you have these young kids here spraying. And there was like some minor things like the run over there. And we're going to fix that. Like nothing that we can't fix. I'm like, lady, the job is not done. Stop talking shit about my painters. Like they're all great kids. Like they work hard. They show up on time. They respect your property. And she just went crazy for that one run. And then it was right after the hurricane hit. Like everything was shut down here. And then what she did, because she didn't want to pay too, she thought we sold her a gold package cabinet, and she thought she paid too much because I guess her friend, she's like, I got my kitchen cabinets done for half. We came to find out that later. And then she's like, I'm not paying you guys. I'm like, what? I was like, I went crazy. I was like, lady, this is not how this works. You don't sign a contract and then because you don't want to pay and then we delivered all your doors and all that. This is not how this works. I was like, give me my balance, give me my dues, and then if you want to finish the job yourself. She's like, I'm going to finish this myself. I'm like, okay. And then I remember we went and she left guys, the job was not done. We had our sprayers there. We had our tools. We had everything. And she wouldn't even let us in the community. She's like, I'm going to bring all your sprayers and out by the gate. I'm like, I don't think that was, it didn't really put us down because, again, we had money in the bank. We're fine. Our guys will get paid. It's just like, we were worried more about her reputation. But like, you know what? If she leaves a bad review, I have my case study again.
You have your presentation.
Yeah, I have my presentation. Every time a customer that's being a pain in the ass and they're in the wrong, well, that's what I do. I don't fight with them. I just like, okay, keep talking shit, keep texting essays. I'll take screenshots of them. And if the customer gets affected by the bad reviews, the blog post, I'm like, here's my case study. Look at how this lady was talking to us. Look why she's complaining. You be the judge if this review or this is affecting you. And then if you think she was in the right, then I guess we're not a good fit for each other. If you think she's being crazy, then we can work together. But it becomes easier. The more projects, like right now we have over 2,000 projects converted. And it's just like our reputation is everybody, like Tampa's best painters for two years in a row. And we've been here for 3 years. So I'm like, that speaks for itself. But in the beginning, those things will put you down because you're worried like, oh my God, now my life is ruined or my business is ruined. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I remember I used to get worried when we would get those bad reviews, but a few of them have gotten deleted, especially on the ones that we don't really work for them, but they try to reach out to us, even though we
Yeah.
We're we're on all our leads, and a lot of people always commend us for our communication, how responsive we are, and all that. And I was getting worried. I'm like, oh, these ones are reviews, they're gonna take us down.
We got one the other day. So the guy, like, I can't remember what I was doing. I was either at a workshop or something. Something that I couldn't have my phone on me, and then I didn't respond until next day. And he's like, I left this guy a voicemail. He took him like 24 hours to respond, and he went and left us a 1-star review. I'm okay. That's fine. I'm like, we never did work for you. And then the best way is to respond. I'm like, hey, I'm sorry this happened. We were probably occupied. We weren't able to get to you sooner. Thank you for your feedback. And again, even when we respond to bad reviews, I'm like, thank you for your feedback. We'll make sure we become better. And then even people are weird. I remember one time there's another Olympian painting, believe it or not, in Arizona or somewhere. I can't remember. I think it's Arizona. And the lady from Arizona went and left us a review. I'm like, lady, I've never even been in Arizona in my life. I'm like, how?
And then she responded, oh, sorry, wrong company. And she didn't delete it.
And she didn't delete it. So I'm like, okay, fuck it, you know. Always make sure you respond to them. If you're in the right, always make sure you respond to them. That's why always make sure you're not doing anything wrong. So that's how I would suggest dealing with those kind of situations. When you get a bad review, when you get people talking shit, just do right. If you're doing right, then let them be. And always build those case studies. Take screenshots of everything. Another tip: if you have a customer that's being a pain in the ass, and like they're being aggressive, and they're trying to like get something out of it, never jump on a call with them. Never, ever, ever. Always do it through text. That way you can just screenshot things, and then be like, hey, look how they're talking to me. Look what they're trying to get out of it. And also people get hit, and I've noticed every time that happens, they go on a rant. They send you like the craziest things, man. It's insane what the things that they say, and just don't respond back. Just let them take it all out and just take screenshots. That's it. I mean, if you want to sue them, if you got money, sue them for harassment. That's how I would do now. I'd be like, I would sue them, just fuck with them.
I love when you said about the story of when people come out, to do the sales training. You had this one person that stuck out for you. You're like, oh, this is like a phenomenal salesperson. And you show me the video. It was for this plumbing company. There were 4 salespeople. And you're like, damn, I really want to see what this guy got out of it. And then you ask the owner, and he was fully motivated.
Oh yeah, we talked about it. I think episode 2 with J&S Plumbing. Jeff, he was one of our first guests. Yeah, that guy was a fucking killer, man. Phenomenal salesperson, and he was just not motivated enough. And I think Jeff says he ended up going to jail or something.
Yeah, and you were saying phenomenal salesperson, fully motivated, but again, if you don't have the discipline, you're not.
It all comes to discipline. He was motivated. He was probably the best person I've talked to for sales. That guy was a straight killer. Like, he didn't need me to coach him, but he just had a discipline issue or other life issues, and then he didn't utilize his talent. No matter how much I motivated him, no matter how much he motivated himself, if you don't do those certain things that you need to be doing and be disciplined, then there's nothing that can save you, man. Hopefully he's doing better. It's been like 3 months since we did that episode that Jeff told us about it. Oh, you want to talk about the time that we fucked up a job that we almost quit?
In the very beginning, we tried to do our cabinets with all tiny rope.
Oh yeah,
hanging them and all that, and due to the weight of all those cabinet doors and all tiny rope, and then you're moving around, you accidentally touch one, and bam, everything gets brought down while wet. One of them breaks. Story.
So that's in the beginning stages of when we started doing cabinets, emerald urethane and Pro Black oil. And we had a nice house in Michigan at the time. We had a big garage. We didn't have a shop. So we're like, how are we going to do these cabinets? I'm like, let's take the job and we'll figure it out. Always, how hard can it be? I like learning the hard way. So I'm like, Dad, how can we cut our time in half without having to lay them down and flipping them and, utilizing all the space in the garage? I'm like, can you build like a rope system or something so I can hang the cabinet? And my dad, he can build anything. So he's like, sure, I can try it out. So we take this string of rope. It was literally like thin rope, and we like nail it from side to side, and we build like rows. And we hang the cabinets from the handle hole. And mind you, those are real wood cabinets, like heavy as shit. So anyways, everything is hanged, and it's Michigan. It's wintertime. It's cold. Nothing is drying. and our garage was not heated. So anyways, I do the first coat of primer. I get away with that. And I'm a pretty big guy, I'm like 6'4", trying to maneuver around cabinets and spray them, and they're spinning. So I remember vividly, I'm spraying this one cabinet, and then it's starting turning towards me, and then I back up so the cabinet doesn't hit me, and then I touch the row behind me. And as soon as I touch, maybe I touched it too much, the whole fucking row, there was like 3 rows of cabinets, just fucking comes down. All the cabinets on the floor. I was like, holy shit. And then I remember two of them broke?
Just one.
Just one? So one breaks. I'm like, holy shit,
But
how are we going to
badly.
do this? Yeah, that one like turned to like 20 pieces. I'm like, how the fuck are we going to do this? I was like, literally, I went out of the garage. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? And then I remember my dad and my brother were like, holy shit, what are we going to do? I was like, okay. I was like, fuck this. I'm out. I'm done with this business shit.
Yeah, I was kind of shitting my pants too, but I'm like, oh, that's not really gonna help if I'm jump on the same boat.
Yeah.
And I basically told you it's okay. We'll fix it.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see what we can do.
So
We'll
it
see
took
what
me
we can
about
do.
5 minutes to realize, like, okay, I'm not leaving the country. I'm not shutting down the business. And I composed myself. I'm like, okay, what can we do? We cannot fit all the cabinets laid down in the garage, so we'll do them in sections. And then I was like, okay, we can do this. And it took us longer. We let the customer like, hey, it's gonna take a little bit longer. And we did them. I think we did like three turns, like, laid them out, because it was a big kitchen. It was like 80-piece kitchen. We laid the 30 of them, then we did 20, 30, whatever it was. So it took us like 9 days, but we got it done. And it was cold too. So when it's cold, obviously the paint doesn't dry.
I remember we got 4 heaters and they were
Yeah.
running constantly. Hope
Yeah.
the energy bill on that.
And then, guys, that job came out so fucking good.
To this day.
To this day, like 6 years later, that guy's like, yeah, my kitchen still look phenomenal. So, yeah, 5 minutes, I will almost flee the country, but I was like, you know what, let's go back to the drawing board and figure out how we can get this done.
Again, grit and perseverance.
Yes. Yeah. This is not, again, this business is not for the lighthearted, man. Like, you gotta be have some thick skin to be dealing with these things.
You gotta expect every day to get punched in the gut.
And that one example, it happened to us recently with epoxy floors. And I didn't react. I was like, okay, now we can fix anything. So when we first started doing epoxy floors, and we got this new product that it's a 3-to-1 ratio. And I was excited to try it out. And, there was a gallon of the epoxy, and then you have a quart of
Part B.
The Part B, the hardener. And then I was like, okay. So epoxy, if you guys are familiar with epoxy coatings, if you don't use a hardener, it will never cure. It'll never dry. So I used 5 gallons of epoxy paint with 1 quart of hardener when I was supposed to use 5 quarts of hardener. So I'm like, oh, this is gonna be great. I didn't realize. I'm not gonna blame the guy. I was like, hey, just put everything together, because this is my first time doing it. I'm supposed to mix. And then he kind of like put the other 4 hardeners in one box, and then the 1 hardener with the 1. So I'm like, okay, that's all I need. Based on like, cabinet coatings, and we only need to catalyze like 5 to 10%. So I'm like, oh, that's about 5 to 10%. That was my fault. But what happened is we did the floor, laid the epoxy, and then I'm like, oh, this is great. We're killing it. We're going to get paid tomorrow. So we go back the next morning, and the thing is like shiny and all that. I'm like, oh, it's just the gloss. So I step on it with my shoe, and the thing is like soaking wet. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then I go back in the back of my truck. I'm like, oh shit, there's still 4 more hardeners. And I call the guy. His name is Buster. I'm like, Buster, this fucking epoxy hasn't dried, man. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, it's still soaking wet. He's like, did you put all the Part B's in the? I'm like, I was supposed to put all of them. And then the old guy, he just busts out laughing. Buster just fucking went crazy on the phone. He's like, dude, you fucked up so bad. I was like, oh shit. But I was like, okay, how do we fix it? I didn't get like crazy like how I did with the cabinet job. I'm like, how do we fix it? He's like, now you need to get acetone, and you need xylene, and then pour it on the floor. Literally in the 20-mile radius, we bought all the xylene from all the Home Depots,
Lowe's, whatever we could find.
Wherever we were selling xylene. And we're like, I think we got like 30 gallons. We're putting it on the floor, wiping it off, and we fixed it.
And then it came out good. We were fortunate that the client wasn't moved in yet.
Yeah, we're very fortunate that the client was not at the house. So that was the second biggest fuck up I can think, but we dealt on that one because I was like, okay, we can fix anything. The first one with cabinets, we didn't know how to fix it. That's why I was stressing out. But now I'm like, okay, there's a solution for everything. At the end of the day, we're painters. We're not dealing with rocket science. Anything in paint can get fixed. That's why, like, even if you fuck up a cabinet job, worst case scenario, we'll go get some new doors. You can get new doors from anywhere. newdoors.com, you can order new doors, custom made, and refinish them. Or you can just strip them down from a failure application, which that happened pretty recently too. We were testing out a new product, passed all our stress tests, and then we used it on customers, and then it didn't perform. So I'm like, okay, no big deal. We'll fix it, strip down the whole thing, use the right product, the better products that we had experience with. Boom, job was done.
Goals. There's short-term goals and there's long-term goals. How do you focus on the long-term vision instead of the short-term?
So number one thing is in this business, you have to learn how to delay gratification. You have to do things and not expect immediate results. For example, we touched base on outreach or how to get free leads. That's a way to delay gratification. Those outreach, those seeds that you're spreading, they won't start producing results immediately. You're going to have to be patient. You're going to have to learn how to not be impulsive and be like, okay, I need to make the money now. Doesn't work like that. You have to, the actions that you take today, they're going to pay a month down the road, 2 months down the road. That's why you need to be taking actions every single day so the dividends are paying out consistently down the road. Short-term vision. I think a short-term vision, which is pretty good, especially if you're starting out, or it's like, hey, my short-term vision is like, for example, I'll use a random example, to be able to hit $50,000 a month in gross revenue consistently. That's a good short-term vision. And that's going to hold you accountable, you and your team and your crews, like, hey, this is our standard. This is the minimum that we need to be hitting every month. What do we need to do to be able to hit that standard every single month? That's a good little short-term vision that you have. Or it might be, we need to bust ass the next 3 months so we can add an extra van on our fleet, or we can buy 2 new pumps, or we can add more tools, or we can spend more money in advertising because winter season is coming and things are slowing down. Those are a few good examples of short-term vision that they're going to hold you accountable on your day-to-day actions.
When advertising, do you think delaying gratification is also a good practice to follow?
Yeah. So advertising, you have to know how to delay gratification with advertising. We talk about this all the time. Like, hey, if you start running an ad now, you're gonna get leads, but the best way to advertise is awareness advertising. You stay relevant in your market. You always make sure you put yourself out there. People always know you exist. So that's the best way to advertise. I think that's how you're gonna get the higher quality customers. If you want to advertise for leads, and we're testing out right now, a new method of advertising, and it's cranking out leads like crazy. But those quality of leads are not where they need to be, because I think like those people, they haven't seen you enough to build that value. Like, okay, to be the high ticket, to be easy to sell, to be easy to close. So that's why I'm a big fan. I'm always open to try out new things, but that's why I'm a big fan of like, hey, long-term advertising, long-term plan, long-term vision in the advertising. We're here for the long run. We're not here to just get 20 leads now and then be out of business in the next 3 months. So it's the same way with the business. It's just learn how to delay gratification and do things for the long run.
Rituals or practices that help you maintain motivation. I think we talked a little bit about it, but the self-talk, the usual pep talk that you give yourself, and also the reminder of the goals ahead. When you set the goals, I think it helps you give that motivation. Your yearly vision board, I don't know if you guys do it. We do it every year. It's a nice guide to look at and remind yourself of the goal ahead. It's a long-term vision thing. For us, you could be motivated with either a new car or you want to take this vacation. But for us, we want this many guys. We want this fleet, whatever motivates you. Just keep that in mind.
Like, it's like to us right now, okay, cars and materials, like we buy a new car every May. We've done that for the last 3 years. Okay, now I'm at the point where I don't get excited anymore by buying a new car. Now I'm thinking like, how do I double my business next year? How do I add 40% on my top line? How do I increase my net profit? How do I become a key player in the residential market? And that's the reason we started the podcast too. It's like, hey, we want to be the top dog of the painting industry. So our motivations have shifted the more the business has grown. Okay, you can get any car you want. You can go travel anywhere you want, but you have to have a bigger why on why you're doing what you're doing. Because you're gonna get all the materialistic things, you're gonna have the money in the bank, and then it's like
you realize it's not really what you really wanted.
And I noticed that with our sales rep. Like some of them, they make a killing, they make good money, and then they'll make their money the first 2 weeks and they slow down. I'm like, what happened? I'm like, we still gotta sell. I'm like, we still gotta perform. And I noticed that with a lot of people, like they hit their standards, they hit where they want to go, and then they slow down. So a good way to combat that is have bigger and
better goals.
Better goals, and why? What's your why? Like also, and then once you achieve those goals, what's next? Like us, we're always looking for what's next. Like we could be comfortable right now. Tampa, Sarasota, we're fine. We're doing good. We're chilling. But we're like, well, what's next? Where we're moving? What's the next thing that we can expand and grow? Because you need challenges. If you want to grow as a business owner, as a person, you cannot be sitting on plateaus and you cannot be sitting on comfort zones. That's why we're always looking for things to get out of the comfort zone. That's why we're always looking for the next thing or how to improve things. It's like a game. Literally, it's a game. How do you improve things? How do you create better systems? And how do you create better lives for the people that are part of the team? That's another thing. Like that's something that we're thinking right now. How can we create more successful people within our organization? Okay, me and Karmelo are making good money. We're fine. But how do we make other people fine too? How do we make people grow within the organization? Those are the things that the more you grow, that you need to start thinking. Otherwise, you're going to hit a plateau. And then I was like, okay, that's not enough, man. Let me start a consulting and marketing agency. Let's see what other challenges we can bring to ourselves. Let's create some more problems for us to fix. Always got to think like that. And there's nothing wrong if you want to go the opposite way. If you want to build it to a certain level. But this episode is for people who want more. This episode is for people who want to go to the next level, want to conquer challenges, want to grow as business owners. That's for... If you want to be on the other opposite spectrum, that's fine too. No pressure. If you want to just live a comfortable life, that's great. Props to you. But this is not the reason we started this. We want fucking killers.
So when we hit that plateau, I think getting inspired by others that are where you want to be, do you think that's what helped you? Like, hey, I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to basically build an empire.
No, I'll use as an example our partnership with John and Ito and all those guys. So I thought we were doing good until I met other people that are doing much better than me. I was like, holy shit, there's more to this. You can be this successful by a painting company? And I thought we were great. I thought we were killing it until I saw people who are doing much better than us. That's why it's important not to get motivated, but it's important to put yourself in settings that there's people out there, business owners that are doing better than you, just so you can see what's possible. And you can expose yourself to those people and see, wow, I can achieve these things if I do this, this, this. And that's how you create those relationships. And also I'm going to use the word motivate yourself to do more. That's, I think, what broke. Because, again, even when I met those guys like a year ago, I thought we were doing great. And I was like, okay, there's more to this game. There's more things that we can build. And then also there's more things like being a part of a team. That's another thing that I was not a big believer. I thought me and my brother could take over the world just by ourselves. I'm like, no, you need a team, man. You're gonna be outperformed by teams if it's just you or two people. I'm like, there's no way we can keep up in this game if it's just the two of us. We'll have a great life, but if we want more and building a crazy operation with crazy enterprise value, then we need a team. So another way to get motivated, expose yourself to people that are doing better than you. That's one piece of advice I'm going to give you guys. Expose yourself to people who are doing better than you, and don't always be the smartest person in the room. If that means you have to outgrow your friend group, if you have to change who you hang out with, do it if you want more out of life. Don't always be the person that's doing the best in your circle. Always have people that are doing better than you. That way you can move up and try and catch up.
Great advice.
That's pretty much it. Don't be the smartest person. I love being the dumbest person in the room. I'm like, okay, how can I learn from these guys? How can I learn from this? How can I learn from what they're doing? How can I implement what they're doing in my own things? That's That's one thing that I'm striving to find every day. People who are doing better than us, so we can learn from them.
Yeah, it gives you room for growth. Celebrating milestones, do you think that increases motivation and your vision towards the long term?
No, I remember like significantly like last August that we had the craziest month ever, like record breaking. And I didn't even realize until I looked at our books 2 months down the road. Once you're very focused and on what you're doing, I don't think you need to be celebrating anything. It's not like, oh, I hit 100K a month. So what? Do more. Do 200K. Because you're not a dog. You don't need to be rewarded because you did something. You know how dogs, like, they do a trick and you throw them a cookie or something. Guys, that's what you're supposed to be doing. Do more. If you hit 200K a month, then what's next? How do you hit 300K? How do you hit 400K? How do you make your process more streamlined? How do you reduce stress? How do you make the operations run more efficiently? There's all these things to be doing more. And again, I'm not saying like we're always like, oh, we're not celebrating milestones, but it's not that important. There's always room to do more.
We used to in the past more, but right now we usually just do it for our teams. So let's say, oh, we had a nice month, guys. Here, team dinner, or here's a bonus. Yeah. We don't really go over too much.
I'm not gonna be like, oh, Karmelo hit 500K this month. Let's go take a vacation now.
Yeah,
it's not. That's our duty. That's what we're supposed to be doing. What we think now, it's like, how do you do it better? And especially in the beginning stages, there's no milestones. Like just because you sold 20K this month doesn't mean you won. There's a constant battle in the business game. You cannot be celebrating. It's like you have to stay consistent. I'm not saying don't be miserable and just work, but don't reward yourself. And like even for like I'll use this example. We'd hit a certain milestone, or like go buy a new car or go buy something fancy. They're not gonna keep you motivated enough. Like right now, I'm like, I don't even care about the cars. We don't even drive them. They literally sit in the garage, and we have to like charge them and jumpstart them because we don't have time to drive them. That's our main focus. So yeah, don't look for the superficial things to motivate you or to celebrate milestones. Do it for your team, like Karmelo said. Like I want to get to the point where we're doing so well, where I can just take all my top performance and take them a week-long vacation in Hawaii or something. That's what I'm looking for. Not just doing dinners. Those are like, let's say we hit $10 million a year. I'm like, okay, now we can do something big for our organization. That's how I think that's where it's worth celebrating. Or like, let's say the business reaches to a point where we can start 401ks for all our employees or things like that. I think those are more important things to focus on than just rewarding yourself with a new car or something or going on a vacation, unless it's a casino. I mean, if you have a good month, you can go have a quick casino trip. No. Or a quick 4-day Vegas trip to reset. Kind of like stop thinking about business for no more than 3 days.
Okay? Anything more on motivation?
No, just be disciplined. And then wake up in the morning and then tell yourself, I don't need to be motivated. I'm a fucking savage. I'm a killer. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to do what I need to do. And that's it. And then that's all the motivation you need, guys. You don't need to like listen to pep talks every day. Just like that's your duty. When you started this business and you have duties to your organization, your team members, there's no bad days, there's no good days. Every day is work day. You just go out there and just fucking do it. That's it.
Agreed.
And then work out. So you can have working out actually is going to put you in good mood.
Workout, nicotine gum.
Workout, nicotine gum, caffeine, healthy diet. That's all the motivation you need. You don't feel motivated putting extra hours, pop up a nicotine gum, have an espresso shot, or go get a workout in, and then that's it. You just need energy. You don't need motivation. Any tips that how do you stay motivated? I never asked you that.
I just look.
We just do it.
On the long-term vision ahead, but I don't really think about it too much because, like I said, you can have motivation plus discipline and then you get the results. If you take the motivation out of the equation and you just leave that, you can still get those results. It doesn't matter.
Or like people are like, oh, how do you wake up so early? I'm like, I just wake up because I have shit to do.
It's become a natural reaction to my body.
It's like I sleep faster because I have shit to do.
Sleep faster.
Yeah. Sleep faster, listen faster, do things faster because you got shit to do. That's I like Dana White. Dana White is great. He's like, you don't need a lot of sleep when you're young. 6 hours a day, that's it. Boom. Get it done. Wake up, run on caffeine and nicotine, and get it done.
Imagine how productive you could be without sleep.
Yeah, that would be good. If I had a superpower, that would be it. Either teleporting or not needing to sleep. Imagine if you could teleport. How much time would you... That's how
How many sales appointments you could hit?
You could do 20 estimates a day if you didn't have to... like literally, you could just teleport from estimate to estimate.
Check on every project.
Yeah, that's how my brain thinks. I'm like, how can I increase efficiency? I'm like, teleporting would be nice. I wouldn't have to sit in traffic. All right, guys. Anything else you'd like to like?
I think that was pretty much it. I like the teleporting part.
All right, so that will wrap up this episode of the Dirty Painters podcast.
Be sure to follow our business on Instagram at Olympian Painting and also our personal pages, Olympian_Redion, Olympian_Karmelo. And also keep up with our episodes on the Dirty Painters podcast.
If you like this episode, be sure to share with a fellow painter or tradie. Until next time, this is Redion.
And I'm Karmelo.
Signing off from Dirty Painters podcast.
Stay disciplined.
Thank you, guys.